Snark Squad.
Babes.
It is Sunday evening.
And, babes, the Bravo gods, they just stay blessing us.
They really do.
And they stay bringing the heat, honestly.
The Casa Azul seltzers are officially on deck, bestie.
Yeah.
And babes, we need to spiral. Like, immediately.
Nate, did you hear the news about Drew Sidora? The divorce update.
Babes, apparently she was literally kicked out. Like, out of the marital home.
I mean...
I am genuinely unwell over this. Like, I was scouring the Reddit threads all morning, and I am gasping for air.
Yeah, it's a lot.
How on earth does a working mother get kicked out of her own home? Like, I cannot physically process this reality right now.
Well, analytically speaking.
Ralph is getting full custody. Because she missed, what, a few school drop-offs? She's an actress.
Right.
She's a reality TV star working 14-hour days to provide the primary income for that entire household. And because she missed the morning carpool, she loses the kids and the house.
Okay, let's just, pause the outrage for a second.
I am sick to my stomach, honestly.
I get it, babe, but we need to look at the actual legal mechanics of what is happening here.
But the injustice.
Is it an injustice, though? Or did Ralph's legal team just, exploit the exact reality of her job? Because the math here is terrifying, but it's logical.
It makes no sense to me.
Either Ralph has retained the single most cutthroat, brilliant family law firm in the entire state of Georgia, or Drew has hired the absolute worst lawyers to ever pass the bar exam.
It has to be a monumental fumble on her part. Like, how do you lose your own house by May? By May, bestie.
Because it's not just a fumble, honey. It's a complete failure to understand Georgia family law. Think about it. Family courts prioritize stability, right? They want status quo for the children.
Yeah, but she's the mom.
Sure. But if Drew is off filming a reality show, going on these long cast trips, working erratic hours, who is physically in the house making the breakfast?
Ralph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ralph. His lawyers didn't just walk into a courtroom and say she's a bad mom. They walked in with a calendar. They documented the absences. They built a rock-solid narrative that he is the default primary caregiver, and they executed a flawless legal strike.
But the cruelty of it. Like, I saw a user on Reddit point out the most tragic detail.
What was it?
Bestie, it's not even Ralph's basement anymore. It's Ralph's house. Full.
Oh, my God, the irony.
The entire property. He is moving back upstairs. He gets the primary suite.
And she doesn't even get, a guest room. She has to be entirely vacated by the end of May.
She doesn't even get a corner.
He is literally going to be upstairs making a turkey sandwich in her kitchen while she is packing up her life in boxes.
How is Drew moving backwards? She brought the income. She had the acting credits before he even existed in our periphery.
I know.
I need a sip. I'm physically spiraling right now.
Take a sip, honey. Honestly, we need to say this right now, publicly,
to
the universe.
We really do?
We need a wine sponsor or a seltzer sponsor.
Because the amount we spiral, the sheer stress these women put our nervous systems through on a weekly basis.
It's a health hazard.
It requires beverages, constantly. Like Casa Azul, if you are listening to us right now, we are single-handedly keeping your Q3 sales afloat.
The sheer delusion of us sitting here on a Sunday evening, surrounded by empty cans of watermelon seltzer, manifesting a corporate sponsorship just to fuel our gossip.
I mean, it is peak housewife energy, you have to admit.
It really is. I think we easily go through 3 cans each just during the recording.
Oh, at least. Not even counting the pregame.
Exactly. But if we are going to dissect the downfall of Atlanta marriages, we require compensation in the form of agave spirits.
Totally. But speaking of our actual real-life jobs, the things that actually pay for these seltzers.
Ah, yes, the real world.
Let's get into our Rose and Thorn Workweek edition. Dentist realness. Because tomorrow is Monday, babe, and the clinic awaits us.
The dreaded clinic.
I'll start with my thorn, because I am already emotionally exhausted just thinking about it.
Lay it on me.
I have a patient coming in on Tuesday for a crown prep on a second molar. Right in the absolute back of the mouth.
Oh, no.
And, babes, this patient has the worst gag reflex I have ever encountered in my entire professional career.
A second molar with a gag reflex is actual trench warfare.
It is. The second the mirror even grazes her tongue, she is practically convulsing in the chair.
I don't envy you at all.
It is going to be a 90-minute appointment of sheer panic.
No.
I'll be sweating through my scrubs, and my assistant is going to be looking at me like we are actively diffusing a bomb. I hate it.
That sounds horrific. What's your rose, though? Please tell me you have one.
I do. On Thursday, I get to do a full set of composite veneers on this really sweet girl who has been saving up for like 2 years.
Oh, I love those cases.
Right. She is going to cry. I am probably going to cry. We are going to have this beautiful emotional moment in chair number 3.
That's amazing.
It's going to remind me why I didn't just go to culinary school, honestly. But what about you?
Well, I'm going to push back on your whole emotional roller coaster vibe because my thorn is highly structural this week.
Oh, of course it is.
Our clinic management decided to implement this new efficiency software, and it requires us to log every single millimeter of composite we use.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
Dead serious. Imagine the micromanagement. The overhead is ridiculous. The interface is completely clunky.
It's so annoying.
So I am actively organizing a quiet rebellion among the hygienists. We are all just going to mysteriously forget our login passwords until management abandons the entire program.
Oh my God, a soft strike. That is so sneaky and I love it.
Exactly. My rose, however, is purely strategic.
Let's hear it.
I managed to convince the scheduling coordinator to block off my entire Friday afternoon for, quote-unquote, administrative charting.
No way.
Yes way. Which means I will be sitting in my office with the door locked, catching up on Bravo, and leaving exactly at 3 p.m.
Bestie, you are an inspiration to the American workforce. Truly.
I try.
Which perfectly brings us to our housewife energy challenge.
Yes.
What is the one messy, petty, shady move you are planning to execute at the clinic this week to channel your inner housewife?
You know, I love a subtle psychological play.
Oh, I know.
We have this one coworker, another associate dentist, who constantly complains about literally everything. The lighting, his assistant, the materials, you name it.
Ugh, the worst kind of coworker.
Well, our supplier just sent a sample box of this incredible, fast-acting, absolutely delicious bubblegum-flavored topical numbing gel.
Oh, the good stuff.
It works in seconds. It is liquid gold. So I have taken the entire sample box, placed it in the back of my personal supply drawer, and I am absolutely withholding it from him.
They did it.
I did. He can use the gritty, cherry-flavored gel from 2019 for all I care. I am gatekeeping the good numbing gel, and I feel zero guilt.
That is savage. It's invisible, but it hurts.
It's all about the subtle shade. What's yours?
See, I'm going full emotional chaos.
Naturally.
There are these two patients, right? They're neighbors, and they completely despise each other.
Oh, I love where this is going.
They have an ongoing property line dispute that they drag the entire front desk into every single time they visit. Nightmare patients.
So I have accidentally instructed the receptionist to schedule them for their cleanings at the exact same time on Wednesday morning.
No, you are lying.
I swear. They will both be in the waiting room, side by side, staring at the fish tank for at least 15 minutes.
That is so messy.
I am going to peek through the blinds and just watch the harmless chaos unfold. Let the front desk deal with the fallout.
You gatekeeping the waiting room piece is exactly the kind of quiet, psychological warfare we saw executed on our screens this week.
Totally.
Because if there is one overarching theme to this week's Atlanta chaos, it is the absolute illusion of control.
Oh, absolutely. Every single woman on this cast is trying to manipulate a narrative or a business, and it is just blowing up in their faces.
Let's start right in the top with the dirty tea party.
Porsha, Kelli, and K. Michelle meeting up.
First of all, the absolute delusion of Porsha in her confessional. She sits there, looking stunning as always, and says, quote, "Even though Kelli and I are like oil and vinegar."
I literally shrieked. I physically paused my television. Oil and vinegar. Bestie, oil and vinegar is a vinaigrette.
They go beautifully together. They literally emulsify.
Exactly. The phrase is oil and water, they repel each other. But Porsha is just going to confidently invent new idioms on national television.
And then she adds, "It's oil and vinegar 265 days a year."
That was the part that broke me.
Not 265. Where did the other 100 days go?
Did they evaporate?
She just casually lops a third of the calendar off the year. I was screaming at the screen like, is there a leap year I don't know about?
It's Porsha math, babe. It has never mathed, and it will never math. But let's look at the strategic setup of this scene.
Okay, yes. Because it was so dark.
It was a highly calculated ambush. Think about the psychology of the environment she chose.
Porsha invites Kelli to this dainty, quiet little tea spot. They are surrounded by cucumber sandwiches and fine china.
Very demure. Very non-threatening.
Exactly. Porsha's smiling. She leans in. She asks for a literal hug. She lures Kelli into this complete false sense of sisterhood security.
And then the strike.
The second Kelli takes a bite of a crumpet, Porsha drops a tactical bomb. She looks her in the eye and accuses Kelli of sleeping with a married man at BT Weekend.
The execution was flawless, I will give her that. But the evidence, entirely non-existent.
There were no receipts.
Let's dissect Porsha's so-called receipts. Kelli rightfully asks, okay, if this is a fact, where is the receipt?
And Porsha looks dead into the camera and says, I am the receipt.
You cannot just declare yourself the receipt.
That is not how evidence works in any court of law. You can't just be like, trust me, bro, I'm the receipt.
It is the weakest defense imaginable. But let's break down the actual logistics of the story Porsha is trying to sell us here.
Please do.
She claims Kelli slept with this married man. Then, immediately after the deed is done, the man changes his clothes, goes home to his wife, but supposedly takes a moment to text Porsha's friend to brag about it.
Make it make sense.
Why on earth would a cheating husband immediately text a mutual acquaintance of a reality TV star? It is a massive, unnecessary risk.
Exactly. And the craziest part of the whole thing.
Yeah, I know you're going to say.
Porsha claims that while Kelli was in bed with this man, Kelli was allegedly on the phone bringing up Dennis.
Dennis, the hot dog king.
Yes. For anyone who needs a refresher, Dennis is Porsha's ex-fiancé, the father of her child, the hot dog mogul of Atlanta.
Right.
Why would Kelli, in the throes of passion with a married man at BT Weekend, suddenly decide to casually mention Porsha's ex-fiancé?
Oh, Dennis makes such good original hot dogs. It's absurd.
The poor hot dog man is just out here trying to sell his meat products, and suddenly he is the centerpiece of a fictional cheating scandal.
The fan fiction is just so poorly written.
It really is.
Yeah.
But you know who the real star of that scene was?
Ooh.
Kim Michelle. She was the absolute avatar for the audience in that moment.
She was the proxy for all of our confusion. She just wanted a peaceful cup of chamomile tea.
Yes. And as they are screaming back and forth over the pastries, K. Michelle's head is literally whipping back and forth like she is in the front row at Wimbledon.
Left, right. Left, right.
I related so heavily to her in that moment. She was looking around like, is anyone else hearing this?
It was pure comedy. But if we want to talk about the illusion of control, babes, we have to pivot to Pinky and her marinara-colored red flags.
Oh my God, Pinky, yes. Let's unpack her, because the financial whiplash of her backstory is staggering.
We really need to explain how this actually happens from a business perspective. Yeah. So she gives us the intro, right? She started Slutty Vegan in 2018.
Yeah, as a ghost kitchen in a two-bedroom apartment.
Which is incredible. A brilliant, undeniable boss move. For those who aren't familiar, a ghost kitchen is a delivery-only model.
Right, no seating.
Exactly. You cook in a private space, you bypass the massive overhead of a commercial restaurant lease, and you rely entirely on apps like Uber Eats and brilliant Instagram marketing to sell the food.
It's super smart.
It's a low-risk, high-reward model if you get the virality right. And she did. She built it into a 14-location, $100 million brick-and-mortar brand.
But then, she casually mentions she went $20 million in debt and lost the company for 43 days before buying it back.
Yeah, that part is wild.
Babes, how do you lose a $100 million company for 43 days? I was spiraling.
Well, this is what happens when you transition from a ghost kitchen to 14 physical locations.
The costs just explode.
Exactly. Your overhead skyrockets. Suddenly, you're paying commercial rent, massive payroll, supply chain logistics, insurance. If your expansion outpaces your actual liquid capital, the debt just swallows you whole.
It's terrifying.
But the real issue here, the absolute glowing neon red flag, it is not the debt.
No.
It is her husband, Derek.
Derek. The owner of Big Dave's Cheesesteaks. I cannot stand him. I am reacting with pure, unfiltered outrage right now.
Go off, bestie.
They fall in love. She gets pregnant 3 months later. They now have 5 kids total between them. And the most terrifying detail of all, no prenup.
Analytically speaking, it is financial suicide.
Bestie, you are a dentist. I am a dentist. If we open a tiny little 2-chair clinic in a strip mall, we are getting a prenup.
100%.
How do you build a $100 million empire and not protect your assets?
It is the ultimate illusion of control in romance, believing that love will somehow protect your LLC. But the dynamic between them is what is truly disturbing to watch.
Oh, it's so dark. Let's look at the kitchen scene.
Yes, when they are cooking together.
They are supposedly having a nice moment. She's making mac and cheese. And instead of letting his wife, a literal culinary mogul, cook her food,
he is standing over her shoulder, micromanaging the oil ratio in the pasta.
He is in secret competition with her.
Secret competition. Babe, it is overt. He sat down on the couch, looked directly at the cameras, and bragged that he is the only one who can handle her.
The word handle makes me sick.
And then the quote of the episode that made me screech at my television, he said he humbled her.
I was absolutely enraged. I humbled you. To say that to a woman who built an empire from her apartment, how dare you?
It takes a lot of nerve.
And Picky admits she was going through absolute hell when she was $20 million in debt, crying herself to sleep, having lonely nights.
And what does Derek say?
He tells her she didn't have lonely nights because he was physically sitting next to her.
The lack of empathy is stunning.
He is showing zero emotional support. He just stared at the side of her head while she lost her life's work and then claimed he humbled her. Throw the whole man away.
I have to challenge you on this a little bit, though.
Really?
How? Is he actively trying to ruin her, or is he just fundamentally incapable of sharing the spotlight?
I mean, does it matter?
It does, because to me, it looks like a man who just lacks basic emotional intelligence. He views her success as a direct threat to his own alpha status as a business owner.
Oh, for sure. He's threatened.
He has to constantly remind her that he owns a cheesesteak company and that he is the one keeping her grounded. It's textbook insecurity masquerading as dominance.
Well, his insecurity is going to cost her half her empire if she doesn't get a post-up immediately. Let's move on before I break a tooth, grinding my jaw over Derek.
Fair enough.
We need to talk about the timeless lies of Phaedra Parks.
Oh, the patron saint of delusion herself.
I was screeching when the scene opened with Aiden in the driver's seat.
Little Aiden.
Little Aiden, who we met when he was a literal newborn baby on our screens. And Phaedra is sitting in the passenger seat looking out the window and casually says, "Just the other day, I didn't even know when I was due."
14 years later.
14 years. Aiden is practically driving her to the grocery store, and she is still maintaining the lie that she thought she was 5 months pregnant when she was full term.
The commitment to the bit is legendary, honestly.
Look, you will lie to the bitter end.
She will take that lie to Willie Watkins' funeral home. It is a masterclass in gaslighting an entire audience. But let's provide some context for why Aiden is even driving in the first place.
Oh, right, the Apollo of it all.
She casually drops that Aiden has been Apollo's designated driver since he was 12.
What?
For anyone who forgot, Apollo is Phaedra's ex-husband, Aiden's father, who spent years in federal prison for fraud.
Since he was 12? What is happening in that family? Why is a middle schooler acting as a chauffeur for a grown man on parole?
I mean, necessity is the mother of invention.
But you know what? I can't even judge, because I hate driving too. If I could legally hire a 12-year-old to drive me to the dental clinic, I might actually consider it.
Well, speaking of dental clinics, this brings us to the most fascinating crossover for us personally.
Yes. K. Michelle and her husband, Caston. I was glued to the screen for this part.
Let's break down this absolute chaotic timeline. Because K. Michelle has been dating this man for 10 years.
A decade.
He wouldn't propose, so she just leaves him. She bounces. And only then does he suddenly realize what he lost, propose, and marry her.
The trickery of it all. Men really do not value what they have until it is packing a suitcase in the hallway.
Exactly. And now, she is house hunting in Georgia.
Right, because he's in Tennessee.
Caston has a highly successful, established dental practice with his father in Memphis. But K. Michelle wants him in Atlanta.
Naturally.
So she buys this massive house on a lake, walks him down to the unfinished basement, points to a concrete corner next to the water heater, and says, "This is where your dental practice is going to be."
Bestie, as a dentist, I was losing my mind.
I was waiting for your reaction to this.
Imagine you are Caston. You have a beautiful commercial clinic in Memphis. And your wife points to a dark basement closet and says, "Put your patient chair here."
Just plug it into the wall.
You cannot just throw a dental chair in a residential basement. Do you know what kind of plumbing is required? The specialized suction lines, the massive air compressors, the sterilization room protocols. You need heavy-duty commercial zoning and OSHA compliance for that. I was dying.
The structural logistics are literally impossible. It's a zoning violation waiting to happen.
A massive fine.
But the absolute best part of that scene was her strict instruction to him regarding his uniform.
Oh my God, yes.
Because Caston is a very handsome guy, and she tells him, deadpan, that she expects him to keep his sausage in his scrubs.
Keep your sausage in your scrubs. I want to put that on a bronze plaque in our clinic's waiting room.
It should be a required uniform policy.
Because she knows. She knows the reality of the dental field, The assistants, the hygienists, the patients, they all fall in love with the doctor.
That's true.
She is marking her territory in that basement clinic before the drywall is even up.
She is setting hard boundaries, babe. And amid all this absurdity, she also drops that she desperately wants a baby girl.
Oh, that was so sweet.
She has a son, but she wants a mini-me, and she's struggling with fertility. It's a very vulnerable, real moment tucked right next to the comedy of Basement Clinic.
It really is.
She brings a very grounded energy to the show.
I love her. I am fully standing K. Michelle this season. But we need to pivot to the premiere of Drew's sci-fi movie, Run.
Ah, yes. The silver screen debut.
I cannot with this movie. The editing of the show was so incredibly shady.
Well, they did her dirty.
They literally show the Reddit spoiler on screen. That Drew dies in the first 10 minutes of the movie. They spoiled her own movie on her own reality show.
It's brutal.
And Claudia Jordan is in it. It's giving straight to DVD, blockbuster video energy. But babes, I have to ask, why is Drew even full-time right now?
Let's analyze Drew's current capital on the show because it's bleak. So bleak. She has almost no storyline outside of the legal destruction of her marriage, which, as we discussed, she is actively losing. She has isolated herself from almost everyone in the cast. Her only ally right now seems to be Porsha. She brings this deeply uncomfortable, heavily rehearsed energy to every scene she is in.
She really does. She has no friends. Why is she here? What drama can she possibly get into if no one even wants to film with her?
That's the problem.
But at least Porsha brought the heat to the premiere. Porsha shows up with her date, Sway.
And we must take a moment to acknowledge Sway's skin.
Flawless. Not a single pore, not a blemish.
Yeah.
Sickeningly perfect skin. I need the skincare routine published immediately.
It was glowing.
But Porsha introduces Sway and casually admits that she is fluid, calling her sexuality the worst-kept secret.
Now, strategically, this is a fascinating rebrand for Porsha.
Why do you say that?
Because if we look at the historical record of Atlanta, Porsha has a documented past of intense double standards and homophobic comments on this very network.
Oh, that's right, the Kim Fields era.
Exactly. We all remember her comments regarding Kim Fields' husband years ago. So for her to now embrace this fluidity openly, it's a massive pivot.
Do you think it's real?
Whether it's genuine personal growth or a highly calculated storyline to stay relevant, it is undeniably interesting television.
I honestly don't even care if it's a calculated rebrand. I am just here for messy, fluid Porsha getting her groove back.
Yeah.
She's glowing. Sway is gorgeous, and I love this new era for her.
It's definitely a glow up.
But of course, Drew have to make it weird.
Drew literally cannot help herself. It's a compulsion.
Drew looks at Porsha, sees her living her truth, and mumbles under her breath, "Oh, not you living my life."
I mean...
I scream, "Zip it, Drew."
This is exactly what I mean about her terrible legal strategy. As an outside observer looking at the legal ramifications, Drew needs a judicial gag order placed on herself immediately.
She is just handing it to them.
Let's provide the context. Last season, Drew's entire storyline revolved around rumors of an affair with a woman named Ty.
Yep.
Drew spent the entire reunion denying anything happened. She spent 48 hours on the phone claiming it was strictly platonic. And now, in the middle of a vicious custody and property battle with Ralph, she is on camera dropping little breadcrumbs like, "Not you living my life."
She is her own worst enemy.
Family court judges look at character, stability, and honesty. Ralph's lawyers are literally sitting in a conference room right now, transcribing that audio to present to the judge as proof that she is a liar who hid a secret life.
Wow.
She is handing them the ammunition on a silver platter.
Ralph doesn't even need a private investigator. He just needs a Peacock subscription.
Literally.
But let's move to the absolute main event of the episode. The petty climax of the century. Nana's Chicken and Waffles versus the Broken Flowers.
The clash of the titans.
First, let's set the scene with the outfits. Kelli's restaurant is finally opening. And Kelly's stylist needs to be arrested without bail.
It is a crime against tailoring.
The Reddit threads were destroying her. Someone said she looks like she's wearing a polka dot scarf straight off the conveyor belt of an Amazon sorting facility. And they aren't wrong. It was neon green. It was pulling in weird places. It was an absolute structural disaster.
It's the fit, you know? She always looks overwhelmed by her clothing. She clearly pays top dollar, but the tailoring is entirely absent.
It's so bad.
Contrast that with Shamea, who walked into that chicken restaurant looking absolutely flawless in a shimmery leopard print bodycon jumpsuit.
Oh, she looks amazing.
She looked like a billionaire pop star. The dichotomy between the two of them in the same room was jarring.
And the financial stress Kelli is under. This explains so much of her erratic behavior, I think.
Yeah, she's wound tight.
She admits on camera that she is $100,000 in debt to the landlord for this commercial space, and she's only paid $50,000 so far.
That is a massive burden.
Imagine you are Kelli. You're $100,000 in debt on a commercial lease. The psychological pressure of that alone is suffocating. She is drowning. She is stressed.
And into this high-pressure, incredibly fragile environment steps Angela.
The newly appointed bone collector.
Angela did the Lord's work. For you babes listening who might not know, a bone collector in reality TV parlance is the cast member who gathers everyone's secrets and strategically deploys them to cause maximum damage.
So essential to the ecosystem.
During a previous shopping trip, Kelli, venting about Porsha's cheating accusations, referred to Porsha as Porsha.
Such a low blow.
But she only said it behind Porsha's back to Angela and Shemaya.
A fatal error in the Housewives universe.
Precisely. If you fire a shot, you must leave your fingerprints on the gun. Kelli tried to be an anonymous sniper.
But Angela wasn't having it.
No, Angela took that bullet, polished it, put it in a velvet box, and hand-delivered it straight to Porsha at the movie premiere.
So Porsha is fuming. It's the day of the restaurant opening. All the ladies are there eating chicken and waffles. And Porsha decides to skip it.
Obviously.
But she doesn't just ghost them. She calls the restaurant. They hand the phone to Kelli. And Porsha, with absolute ice in her veins, says she isn't coming because she is, quote, off carbs.
I'm off carbs right now. I'm not eating waffles.
Yep.
It is an elite, top-tier dismissal.
It's brilliant.
It attacks the core product of the event. It belittles the entire establishment.
And she doesn't stop there. She sends a bouquet.
Yeah.
But not just any bouquet. A mangled, crushed, completely destroyed bouquet of flowers.
It's the logistical commitment to the petty that I admire so deeply.
I know. How does she do it?
That's what I want to know. How did she execute this? Did she buy expensive flowers and jump on them in her driveway? Did she specifically instruct the florist to run them over with the delivery van?
We need behind-the-scenes footage.
We will never know the exact mechanics, but the result was breathtaking.
But Kelli doesn't miss a beat. Kelli takes the phone, looks at the destroyed floral arrangement, and delivers the line of the season.
Say it.
Broken flowers from a broken person.
Boom.
I lost my mind. I literally stood up in my living room and applauded. The sheer housewives' perfection of that exchange.
It was so good.
It was Shakespearean, it was petty, it was direct, it was flawless.
It was the exact level of savage shade that we demand from this franchise.
But babes, as much as we love the petty shade, the episode takes a very, very serious turn with K. Michelle's Nashville nightmare.
Yeah, that was rough.
Because speaking of things breaking down, let's look at when the illusion of control shatters physically.
This was a stark medical reality check.
K. Michelle is in Nashville. She is being honored at the Academy of Country Music Honors for Rissy Palmer. It's a huge milestone in her career.
A huge deal.
She is standing in a room full of country music executives. And suddenly, she stands up from her chair and the couch is soaking wet.
Because she has an infected open wound from a previous surgery that has ruptured.
She is completely numb in that area, so she doesn't even feel it happening. Her team is frantically blow-drying her clothes in the bathroom just so she can get on stage and perform her song while she is literally leaking fluid.
It was horrifying to watch.
I felt so bad for her.
It is the terrifying reality of back alley plastic surgery. We really need to look at the mechanics of what is actually happening to her body here.
What exactly did the doctors say?
When she finally gets to the hospital, the doctor confirms it's a severe infection, there is dead tissue, and she requires immediate reconstructive surgery to clean it out.
Ugh, that sounds agonizing.
The root issue here is illegal silicone injections. Unlike fat grafting or implants, free-floating silicone in the glutes can migrate, harden, and cut off blood supply to the skin, causing necrosis, which is dead tissue.
And K. Michelle sits there, crying to her assistant, taking full accountability for it.
Which you don't see often.
She admits that years ago she got these illegal injections because she was chasing an impossible beauty standard, trying to get a bigger butt when she already had one.
It requires immense vulnerability to show that on national television.
So much vulnerability.
She is demystifying the glamour of the aesthetic industry
Right.
and showing the literal physical scars. With all the BBL culture and the constant pressure to look perfect on Instagram, seeing the actual consequence, the threat of sepsis, the agonizing pain, it's incredibly sobering.
It broke my heart. She said it was the worst thing she ever did to herself, and she is still paying the price, years later.
It's tragic, honestly.
It makes her incredibly compelling and authentic as a cast member, which perfectly transitions us into evaluating this cast as a whole with our segments.
Let's do it.
Segment 1. When you look at who is actually anchoring this ensemble, we have to ask, peach holder or peach snatcher? Who is earning their spot and who is about to lose it? Let's call it out. Who is your ultimate peach holder?
I am giving the peach holder status entirely to K. Michelle.
Agreed. 100%.
She is bringing everything required of a top-tier housewife. She brings a real life, a tangible career in country music, a husband with an actual job, and the bizarre dynamic of trying to build a highly illegal dental clinic in a basement.
So true.
And she's giving us terrifying, authentic medical vulnerability. She doesn't play the fake Hollywood game. She sits at a tea party, watches two women lie to each other about BT Weekend, and literally just rolls her eyes. She's the anchor this show needs right now.
She is. But babes, my peach snatcher, the person who is actively losing their grip on that fruit.
Who is it?
Is Drew Sidora. I am emotionally venting right now, but I cannot take it anymore. The fans are exhausted.
It's true. The Reddit threads are turning on her.
She has no friends in the cast. She lost her house. She lost custody of her children because she couldn't manage the morning carpool. And her only professional achievement this week was dying 10 minutes into a B movie.
That was tragic.
What is she bringing to this ensemble?
Analytically, her value to the group dynamic is approaching zero. She is completely isolated. A housewife cannot survive on an island.
You just can't.
If the rest of the cast doesn't want to film with you and your only storyline is self-sabotaging your own divorce on camera, your days are numbered. She is a peach snatcher, without a doubt.
Okay, segment 2, shade level. Subtle or savage? Break down the reads this week. Who delivered the goods and who tried and completely failed?
The Savage Award, the absolute masterclass in delivery, goes to the dual strike between Porsha and Kelli.
Oh, absolutely.
As we discussed, Porsha refusing to attend the opening because she is off carbs and sending crushed, mangled flowers is elite psychological warfare.
Next level petty.
But Kelli receiving that shade, not missing a beat, and firing back with broken flowers from a broken person over the phone, that is top-tier direct hit housewives shade. It was an equal exchange of high-level artillery.
It was beautiful to witness. But the subtle, or rather the failed shade, that goes to Kelli earlier in the episode. Kelli calling Porsha Horsha behind her back to Angela and Shemaya.
Exactly. It is the weakest form of combat.
So weak.
You cannot throw shade in the dressing room if you aren't willing to stand in it when the person walks out on stage. She smiled and hugged Porsha at the tea party, then called her name to her friends. It makes you look cowardly.
Just say it to her.
Right. If you were going to call her Horsha, you look her in the eye, hand her a cucumber sandwich, and say it to her face.
Say it with your chest. Don't outsource your shade to the bone collector. And speaking of weak strategies, let's move to segment 3. We have to award the most delusional take of the week. Who said something that made absolutely zero sense?
I have to dissect Porsha's receipts against Kelli. The structural delusion of that lie is insulting to my intelligence.
It really was an insult.
She expects us to believe that a man would cheat on his wife at a busy industry event, and his very first instinct upon completion is to text a random friend of Porsha Williams.
Why would he do that?
And furthermore, that Kelli, in the heat of a forbidden affair, would suddenly sigh and bring up the hot dog king. The fan fiction is poorly written, and Porsha declaring, "I am the receipt," is the height of prosecutorial delusion.
Seriously.
You are not a receipt, you are a broken rumor mill.
Well, my delusional take goes entirely to Pinky's husband, Derek.
Oh, yes.
The absolute unmitigated delusion of a man with no prenup looking at his wife, who built a $100 million empire from a ghost kitchen while raising 5 kids, and looking directly into the camera to claim that he humbled her.
The audacity.
I wanted to throw my Casa Azul at the television. You make cheese sticks, sir. She built a vegan empire.
Tell him.
You did not humble her. The supply chain logistics and a $20 million debt humbled her, and you just sat on the couch watching it happen. The delusion of his ego is radioactive.
It is staggering hubris. Which brings us to our final verdict. Segment 4. Who would you ally with?
Oh, this is easy.
If you, bestie, had to drop your scaler, leave the dental clinic, and join this group of women today, who are you aligning with and who are you avoiding at all costs?
I am aligning with K. Michelle immediately. She is the only one operating in reality.
Totally.
She wants to drink moonshine out of a refrigerator, build an incredibly zoning-violating dental practice for her husband, have a baby girl, and sing country music.
A simple life.
She has zero interest in the fake, produced drama. If you ally with her, you know exactly where you stand. She is a straight shooter.
We are entirely aligned on that. I would be at her house on the lake, drinking moonshine, helping Kasten figure out how to run the suction lines through the basement ceiling. I am a K. Michelle stan.
Same. But who are you avoiding?
Who do you think? I am avoiding Porsha Williams like she is a walking HIPAA violation.
Oh my God, yes.
I have analyzed her threat level, and it is catastrophic. She is the most dangerous type of reality star.
Why? Because of the Tea Party.
Yes. She will sit across from you in a beautiful outfit, eat delicate sandwiches, smile warmly, ask for a physical hug, and then look you dead in the eye and try to destroy your marriage on camera with an anonymous text message she literally invented in the car ride over.
She is a menace.
She is a smiling assassin. You cannot trust her, you cannot confide in her, and you absolutely cannot eat tea sandwiches with her.
Avoid at all costs.
Yeah.
And babes, with that, we have survived another week of Atlanta chaos.
We made it through.
The divorce drama was heavy, the Seltzer spirals were necessary, and our own shady dental clinic plans are locked and loaded for Monday morning.
But Snark Squad, we need to hear from you. We need you in the comments right now. What do you think about the Drew situation? Is there any way she bounces back from this legal disaster?
Who is winning this divorce? Because right now, the scoreboard is looking heavily skewed toward Ralph.
Very scared.
And babes, what's your shady move this week? How are you bringing housewife energy to your office, your clinic, your PTA meeting? Tell us everything.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Send in your submissions, your theories, your own unhinged office stories.
Send this to your most dramatic friend who lives for housewives chaos and needs to spiral with us. Thank you to the Snark Squad for listening and keeping us sane.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. We watch these women fight tooth and nail to hold on to their spot on this show.
Yeah.
But at what point does the financial incentive of staying on a reality television show officially outweigh the legal and emotional cost to these women's real-life families?
That's a great question.
Does the Bravo paycheck truly justify handing your ex-husband the ammunition to take full custody of your children just so you can maintain a peach? Ponder that next time you watch someone orchestrate a storyline.
Wow. That is heavy. Stay shady, babes.
Stay iconic.
And we'll see you next week on the Snark Side.